Otzi is the common nickname for the well-preserved natural mummy of a man who lived between 3400 and 3100 BC. The mummy was found in September 1991 AD in the Ötztal Alps, hence the nickname Otzi, near Similion Mountain and Haslabjoch on the border between Austria and Italy. By current estimates, at the time of his death, Otzi was approximately 1.65 meters, 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighed about 61 kilograms, 134 pounds, and was about 45 years of age. Analysis of pollen, dust grains, and the isotopic composition of his tooth enamel indicates that he spent his childhood near the present village of Feldthurns, north of Bolzano, but later went to live in valleys about 50 kilometers further north. Otzi's clothes were sophisticated. He wore a cloak made of woven grass, and a coat, a belt, a pair of leggings, a loincloth, and shoes, all made of leather of different skins. He also wore a bearskin cap with a leather chin strap. Other items found with the Iceman were a copper axe with a yew handle, a chert-bladed knife with an ash handle, and a quiver of 14 arrows with viburnum and dogwood shafts. Analysis of Otzi's stomach contents revealed the partly digested remains of ibex meat, confirmed by DNA analysis, suggesting he had a meal less than 2 hours before his death. Wheat grains were also found. It is believed that Otzi most likely had a few slices of a dried fatty meat, probably bacon, which came from a wild goat in South Tyrol, Italy. Analysis of Otzi's intestinal contents showed 2 meals, the last one consumed about 8 hours before his death, one of chamois meat, the other of red deer and herb bread. Both were eaten with grain as well as roots and fruits. The grain from both meals was a highly processed einkorn wheat bran, quite possibly eaten in the form of bread. In 2001, X-rays and a CT scan revealed that Otzi had an arrowhead lodged in his left shoulder when he died, and a matching small tear on his coat. The discovery of the arrowhead prompted researchers to theorize Otzi died of blood loss from the wound, which would probably have been fatal even if modern medical techniques had been available. Further research found that the arrow's shaft had been removed before death, and close examination of the body found bruises and cuts to the hands, wrists, and chest, and cerebral trauma indicative of a blow to the head. One of the cuts was to the base of his thumb that reached down to the bone, but had no time to heal before his death. Currently, it is believed that Otzi bled to death after the arrow shattered the scapula and damaged nerves and blood vessels before lodging near the lung. Otzi had a total of 61 soot tattoos, consisting of 19 groups of black lines, ranging from 1 to 3 millimeters in thickness, and 7 to 40 millimeters long. These include groups of parallel lines running along the longitudinal axis of his body and to both sides of the lumbar spine, as well as a cruciform mark behind the right knee and on the right ankle. and parallel lines around the left wrist. The greatest concentration of markings is found on his legs, which together exhibit 12 groups of lines. It has been speculated that these tattoos may have been related to pain relief treatments similar to acupressure or acupuncture. If so, this is at least 2,000 years before their previously known earliest use in China, circa 1000 BC. Recent research into archaeological evidence for ancient tattooing has confirmed that Otzi is the oldest tattooed human mummy yet discovered. But he is not alone. On the remote Yukok Plateau, some 2,500 meters up in the Altai Mountains, in a frontier region close to Russia's borders with Mongolia, China, and Kazakhstan, accessible now only by helicopter, is what was once part of the Southern Steppe Road. Some 2,500 years ago, this way was used by the Pazyryk people, who were a nomadic people described by the Greek historian Herodotus. Genetic studies show that the Pazyryks were a part of the Samietic family, with elements of Iranian Caucasian substratum. A 1929 archaeological expedition's tumulus excavation thawed out of ancient ice a female mummy buried with 6 horse skeletons, some with preserved wooden decorations on the harness, some with colored saddles made from felt. On one of the saddles was a picture of a jumping, winged lion. The woman had died in her mid to late 20s, around 2,500 years ago, making her a contemporary of Pythagoras and Buddha, and her organs had been removed to preserve her artificially mummified body, which was filled with herbs and roots. Her head was completely shaved, and she wore a horsehair wig. She was dressed in a long shirt made from Chinese silk and had long felt-sleeved boots with a decoration on them. Chinese silk was only found in royal burials of the Pazyryk people. It was more expensive than gold and was a sign of extreme wealth. There was jewelry and a mirror found by the foot of a massive, upright, hollowed wooden log central to the burial chamber. Laid out was a meal of sheep and horse meat and ornaments made from felt, wood, bronze, and gold, including a small container of cannabis, along with the stone plate on which were the burned seeds of coriander.